had a couple questions posed to me with regards to clarification on what kind of work expectation that I'm going to be applying during the Advocates University course, because it is a high value course. And if I'm not doing my job in properly instructing and helping you gain that knowledge, then I can tell you it wouldn't be worth it. And I'm telling you it's going to be worth it. And like I think I said it before, that I'm going to run the course, or I'm going to operate it very similar to the way that I taught the law school course when I was an adjunct professor at my law school on special education law, and but differently, because of course this is real world application, and something to where I'm excited on the expansion and the availability of this knowledge that we can sit there and apply with regards to the day-to-day, not only as parents, but also as, let's say, paid advocates or even volunteer advocates, which we need. We absolutely need an army of competent, trained advocates and parents out there. I don't think that I try to convey this to the parents that we represent and some of the advocates that collaborate with us. The parents that stick their neck out there, and they're sort of the first ones to have the confidence to advocate for their children, let's say with regards to a due process complaint or mediation, or even some of the cases that we're able to sit there and work with the board attorneys and the school district in an informal fashion to resolve these issues. And the one thing that I would want parents and advocates to take away from the experience is you have no idea the rippling effect that it has on the education system if you do it right, if you are effective, if you are confident in the solutions that you are proposing and that are being adopted by the IEP team. Because some of the most critical deficits that exist in the form of training, staff supports. And so therefore you solve a problem within a classroom to where a teacher, a very valuable teacher, is having the candles burning at both ends, to where, you know, she or he is going to work every day going, I don't know how much longer I can do this, because they're not getting the adequate staff support from administration. And I'm not blaming necessarily special education administration for that, because many times these are Board of Education decisions down to superintendents, down to chief financial officers and people of that fashion, to where, you know, special education is hitting a ceiling on the funding that they have. And some of these schools are not distributing this in an equitable fashion, to the point where they are relying upon state and federal funds for special education instead of looking at local funds to properly fund special education as it's intended. State and federal funding is supposed to be supplemental, guys. So we are supposed to fund programs equally across the board, and then the state and federal monies that is poured into special education is intended to be supplemental. And so many times administration is hamstrung as well. But when I have a teacher that's their candles burning on both ends, and we're going to lose them at some point, and the parent's able to advocate, these things do not work unless the people that we are fighting for include your child's staff. Okay? It may appear adversarial, it's not. There are those rare cases to where I am dealing with removing bad personnel, but that's not the norm. The majority of the cases involve working to supply the current teachers with sufficient staff, sufficient aid support, outside experts, especially with regards to behavior, to support very difficult and complex kids. That's a positive. That helps keep our good staff. That helps us keep our good administrators, and that's always our goal. So what is it that I expect? And the only way that we can sit there and increase our knowledge is in the fashion of this course, in some of the expectations that we're going to put out there. We're going to have case studies, okay? And I'm going to use real cases that we've had through the years as our examples. And what I'm going to do is that we're going to have a scenario. I'm going to have a scenario laid out. And then what I expect in written format is to lay out a set of solutions. Option 1, option 2, option 3. Because the best kind of negotiation as an advocate, as a special education attorney, and as a parent is to understand how you can pivot and accomplish the same goal. That is the key. How can you pivot? If an IEP team says no, if administration said we're not going to do that, how can you make the adjustments so that it works? That involves tiering your knowledge so that you understand how to find out what resources your school district does have, what they're required to provide, how to achieve and get those things, and then how you can sit there and layer that to where an IEP team says yes and adopts those changes. So knowing the law, it's an important aspect. Like I said, that's there to sit there and fill you with the confidence so that you can make these kind of offers, so you can negotiate with confidence and then be able to sit there, look at a problem and understand how to solve it. And that is the most important and most valuable aspect of what I'm going to be teaching all of you that sign up for Advocates University, is we're going to walk through these case studies. And we're going to sit there and look at, let's say, Down syndrome. We're going to look at dyslexia. We're going to look at autism and the different aspects, high functioning, all the way down to moderately to severely impacted. And we're going to walk through the different peer-reviewed scientific approaches, methodology, teaching styles. I'm going to teach you how to sit there and decipher psychological data, to sit there and put proper perspective on the educational performance areas that go into goal development and then service implementation, so that we understand where we need to pluck the fruit from with regards to services. And I can tell you, most schools have all the necessary resources. It's already there. It's already available. It's just not being concentrated as it needs to be concentrated. So you're not reinventing the wheel, because I can tell you, high EB teams won't say no to you if they already have you. They already have the resources. It's just the whole thing of how do you make the adjustments. And so many times parents go into the IEP meetings, or an advocate goes into an IEP meeting, and they're asking for 45 different things, and they're not going to get that. But if you can sit there and hyper focus, and you know what you're looking for, you know what resources do exist, you know what doesn't exist, you know what the law says, so you can sit there and approach those problems with confidence. And you can sit there and target what needs to be tiered first, and then build upon that over a short amount of time. Remember, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Our children go to school receiving services up to and including 21 years old, guys. So you got preschool, 3 years old to 21. Tiering a successful special education program is a marathon. It is not a sprint. And I'm going to teach you where you have your automatic hiccups every time with every kid. And if you can sit there and pre-plan those things, you can avoid those problems, which is that elementary to middle school transition, middle school to high school transition. You know, we're going to walk through it all, guys. But like I said, I am not doing anybody any favor by just teaching the law if I don't teach you how to negotiate, if I don't teach you how to look at a case study problem, a real one that we've had, and then understand where you need to make the adjustments so that you can get to a yes. Okay? Hope you sign up. Excited about it.